wrestling fans are a lot of things. Handsome, intelligent, virile. Oh wait, no, that's just me. We can also be very judgmental, making our minds up about things before we've seen the full picture. The following performers all had their doubters at one stage or another, but through tireless work and dedication, with the occasional good break here and there, were able to overcome the negativity, succeed, and become stars. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are 10 wrestlers who proved the naysayers wrong. Join us! Number 10, Dominik Mysterio. After first appearing on WWE TV as the spiky-haired object of a custody battle, Dominik Mysterio became a regular part of the show in 2020 during Rey Mysterio's feud with Seth Rollins. This led to his debut match with the Monday Night Messiah at SummerSlam, a short run with the Tag Team Championships, and a part in Logan Paul's debut at WrestleMania 38. Logan that night was teaming with his father, The Miz. I think that's right. Despite all these high-profile moments, fans did not take kindly to the second-generation star. Well, that was until he turned heel and joined up with the Judgment Day. Ever since he took out Rey and Edge at Clash at the Castle and developed a completely psychologically healthy relationship with Rhea Ripley, Dom has completely transformed. He is way more effective as a sniveling heel than he ever was as a good guy, and is now one of the most reliably entertaining performers every single goddamn week. Completely throwing himself into the role, he has quite shockingly become one of WWE's best bad guys, and his star is only set to grow going forward. Papa Eddie must be watching and smiling up in heaven. Number 9, Braun Strowman. In 2015, WWE took a page out of Itchy and Scratchy's book and decided that the way to revitalize the Wyatt family was to add a new character. Instead of a rapping dog, though, fans were faced with a beta version of Braun Strowman. Less than a year after his first ever wrestling match, Strowman was dumped onto TV as the newest member of the Backwoods cult. He was nicknamed the Black Sheep, although his moniker should have been the Deer in Headlights. Strowman looked totally out of place, and to be fair, can you really blame the guy? Here he was, mere months into his WWE career, pushed to a level that he just wasn't ready for. Luckily for him, wrestling fans are famously forgiving and were willing to let him find his feet. Nope, crowds dumped on Strowman from a great height, taking a sadistic pleasure in his lumbering appearance and total lack of skill. All that changed in 2016 though, when a newer, more confident version of Strowman appeared on Raw and started munching through jobbers like they were on special offer. Sorry we ever booed you, Mr. Strowman, please don't eat me. Number 8, AJ Styles. From the closure of WCW until the 2016 Royal Rumble, one man who helped carry wrestling outside of WWE on his back was AJ Styles. Whether in TNA, New Japan, or Ring of Honor, the phenomenal one wowed audiences with his flashy moveset, freakish agility, and adorable little face. Oh, look at it. Such a cutie. At the aforementioned Royal Rumble event, fans got a moment almost 20 years in the making when Styles strode out to a WWE stage for the first time ever. It would have been nice to actually see this moment, but Kevin Dunn clearly thought Roman Reigns' stupid, although admittedly handsome mug was more important. However, as soon as Styles rocked up in WWE, fans got worried. Vince McMahon had a long history of burying so-called outside talent, and longtime admirers were afraid that the same would happen to their boy. However, those naysayers were proved wrong, because by the time 2016 was done, Styles had beaten John Cena twice and was the WWE champ. Even better, WWE have continued to treat AJ like a big deal since, finally snapping the curse that had affected so many other so-called indie darlings. Number 7, Sheamus. On June 30th, 2009, Sheamus made his debut on ECW, defeating an enhancement talent. On December 13th, 2009, Sheamus defeated John Cena at TLC to become WWE champion. If you would like to file a claim for whiplash, please call the number on screen now. Vince McMahon was clearly in touch with his Irish heritage at this time because he booked Sheamus to look like an absolute monster. This was what WWE fans had been wanting for years, a fresh new star to shake up the dusty old main event scene. Sadly though, the company went for the wrong fresh new star. Sheamus wasn't bad, he was just a bit bland. His character at the time boiled down to, I am Irish and I like to kick people, which is hardly what you look for in a top guy. It would take another decade or so until public opinion on the Celtic Warrior really started to turn. Through a series of hard-hitting matches with Drew McIntyre, fans began to come around to Sheamus. One series of brutal battles with Gunther later, and they were practically worshipping at his feet. The luck of the Irish must be real, although it could have kicked in a little sooner. Number 6, Hangman Adam Page. Moving away from WWE now, we find ourselves at AEW's All Out event from 2019. The final match of the night was a huge one, the battle to crown the first ever AEW World Champ. On one side was Chris Jericho, a veteran name with dozens of championship reigns in his back pocket. And on the other side was Hangman Adam Page, who was friends with the Young Bucks. Oh dear. Many thought Page was pushed way too hard way too soon, and the fans did not take kindly to it. Not only did it make the result of All Out thoroughly predictable, but it actually set Hangman's career back a good ways. And then came Kenny Omega. Through his outstanding long-term feud with the Best Bout Machine, the anxious millennial cowboy managed to get across his personality and help fans resonate with his nervous, self-destructive character. By the time Full Gear 2021 came around, fans were threatening to riot if their new fave didn't beat Omega for the top prize. All this goes to show that if you give somebody a little bit of time and team them up with a bunch of weirdo ex-cult members, then they too can soar. Number 5, Diamond Dallas Page. It's him, oh wait, I've done this wrong. Before he was an in-ring competitor, Diamond Dallas Page was a successful manager for acts like Kurt Hennig, the Fabulous Freebirds, and a young Scott Hall. In 1991, it seemed as if Page's managerial opportunities in WCW were drying up and that he may soon be let go. Instead of handing in his CV at the local supermarket though, the 35-year-old Page made the utterly bonkers decision to learn how to wrestle. Just for context, Seth Rollins is 36 now. Against all the odds and the laws of biology, DDP not only completed his training, but would go on to have one of the most extraordinary careers in WCW history. He feuded with Randy Savage, Goldberg, Hulk Hogan, and many more on his way to winning 10 titles with the promotion, including 3 runs with the top prize. It's been said many times, but it bears repeating just how inspirational DDP's story is in showing that it is never too late to follow your dreams. Number 4, The Miz. Hopping back to WWE now, and a man who has been with the company for almost 2 decades. God, time is relentless, isn't it? Mike The Miz Mizanin was first introduced to WWE audiences as part of 2004's $1 Million Tough Enough. Let's just gloss over when he made a total tit of himself whilst hosting the Diva Search and move on to his time as an actual in-ring competitor, eh? In the years that followed Tough Enough and that embarrassing moment, Miz has won just about everything there is to win in WWE. The WWE Championship, multiple IC and US Championships, a bunch of different tag belts, the Slammy for Best WWE.com exclusive in 2008, all the big ones. He managed to achieve all of this despite constant bemoaning from fans, critics, and even fellow wrestlers. Yes, JBL, we mean you. Whether you love him or hate him, there is no denying that Miz has made the very most of a wrestling career that began as a spot on reality TV. There is no chance that this man isn't going into the WWE Hall of Fame one day, and you know what? He more than deserves it. Number 3, Daniel Bryan. From The Miz to his ex-NXT rookie, Daniel Bryan famously faced some pretty tough opposition in his time working for WWE. After kicking people to death for fun on the indies, Bryan Danielson made his proper WWE debut in 2010 as one of the NXT rookies. He was promptly fired for choking a man with a tie, but don't worry, they hired him back shortly thereafter. Bryan was never earmarked for greatness in WWE. He was an outstanding wrestler, but didn't fit the mold of what a traditional top star in the company looked like. He was in a system that was working against him, but that system didn't count on one thing. Men from their 20s to 40s with too much time on their hands and access to the internet. Mwahaha! That's right, through an overwhelming groundswell of support from fans, WWE were forced to push Bryan to the moon and give him the biggest win of his career at WrestleMania 30. The American Dragon had overcome all the odds and had solidified his place amongst the modern wrestling elites, even if maybe that's not what WWE had in mind. Number 2, John Cena. It's almost weird to think about now, but there was of course a time when John Cena was public enemy number 1 in the eyes of wrestling fans. And not in the cool ECW public enemy kind of way. He was almost the total inverse of a Daniel Bryan. The company absolutely adored him, but lots of fans couldn't stand to watch him succeed. To be fair, WWE did little to help Cena's case. They gave him win after win after win, often at the expense of more popular stars, and watered down his once edgy character to a collection of catchphrases and multicolored t-shirts. Everyone was convinced that fans would hate John Cena for life until he started doing something called the United States Open Challenge. Suddenly, Big Match John was putting on pay-per-view quality matches every single week on Raw with some of the best talent around. Sure, he would still win, but this was the most interesting thing he had done in years. So there you have it. John Cena overcame the odds, never gave up, and got through the tough times with hustle, loyalty, and respect. Good God, the propaganda's deeper into my brain than I first thought. Number 1, Roman Reigns. Take all the animosity fans felt towards John Cena for so long, apply it to Roman Reigns, and multiply it by about 100. As soon as WWE started to push the ex-Shield member as a top star, fans called him out as Cena 2.0. In the wake of multiple attempts to get Roman over as the new blue-eyed babyface, literally look at those contact lenses, fans wholeheartedly rejected their new hero and many years of main event stories were ruined as a result. And then he went bad. Since coming back in the summer of 2020 as a heel, Roman's perception has undergone a total 180-degree flip. As the callous, manipulating head of the bloodline, the tribal chief has evolved into one of the most compelling, three-dimensional characters wrestling has ever seen, and fans have loved going on that journey. Although we were all crying out for a Reigns heel turn for years, nobody could have expected it to go this well. The big dog never rested on his laurels and worked so hard to change people's minds on him, and for that, we can't help but acknowledge him.